The following program is a presentation of Jez Sports. Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Main Event Podcast. We're here today to discuss what has frankly been a nutso fortnight in professional wrestling. I'm Jez. That's Dan.
Me.
We will not waste too much time in waiting to get into the juicy meat of all the stuff that's happened, but I will, because I'm a nice guy, ask you how you're doing, Dan.
I'm doing all right. It's been very wet today, and personally works outside. It's a bit more tricky and soaking wet.
Yeah, I couldn't do what you do. I really couldn't. It's just the idea of going outside, let alone in the rain, is abhorrent to me. So the fact that you deliberately leave the house and do so getting wet is more power to you. My hat that I'm not wearing today is I'm going to put a hat on. I'm going to put a hat on and take it off for you. That's how I feel about that. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. But how are you doing?
All right. Yeah. I've had a tumultuous couple of weeks with a little bit of the big sad, as they call it, and I hurt my back, so I've just been kind of sedentary for a few weeks, but it's feeling a lot better now. It's not better, but feeling a lot better, and my brain is feeling a lot better. And then, the last 2 weeks of wrestling happened, and I think my big sad kind of converted into big what the hell, really. There's certainly been a lot going on. Obviously we weren't here last week, so we have a few weeks of stuff to get into. So let's kick off with some conversation around the WWE Royal Rumble. I'm not going to faff around with like graphics and stuff for the Royal Rumble and things, because I feel like our conversation is probably going to leap around a little bit. And there's too many buttons for me to press, frankly, to go, no more Royal Rumble, let's talk about this and that kind of stuff.
We got one thing to say, though.
Yes, we do indeed. Yes, I was going to wait for a nice goat segue to introduce the goat, but that's certainly a segue, just literally putting it on the screen. Yes. So I will go ahead and say that this episode of the Main Event Podcast is sponsored by Goat Drinks. You can get yourself a case of their all-natural energy drink in original mango, sported here by me, or the truly sexual, and I cannot express how sexual it is, cherry flavour at goatdrinks.co.uk. Enter the code JEZ10 down there in the corner that Dan's pointing to, and you will get 10% off your entire order, and you will get free shipping, which is a bargain, frankly. I still need to get another case of that cherry for myself. I've run out now. You do. It's very sad times.
Sad time.
Not that there's anything wrong with the horny goat, but it's just it doesn't compare to
the funky goat.
To the funky goat. It's like if you've been having steak all your life, and then suddenly they offer you like a Big Mac or something. It's just not the same. It's just not the same. So yes, Goat Energy, thank you very much for your continued sponsorship of the Main Event Podcast and all Jez Sports podcasts, frankly. Royal Rumble. I will open the floor to you initially for just general thoughts about the event and whether you enjoyed it, anything that stood out to you, anything that was a bit annoying to you in a general sense.
It was all right. Women's Royal Rumble, we had Jordan Grace.
I almost forgot that, actually. Yeah.
I was down for that.
Not the first time that we've had a TNA contracted wrestler in the Rumble, but this one felt bigger, despite the fact that, Mickie James, maybe that's why it was bigger. Mickie James had already been in WWE. She already had that relationship. This was Jordan Grace making her WWE debut as a TNA contracted wrestler and the TNA Knockouts World Champion. And they went the full shebang. Her entrance music, her video, calling her Knockouts World Champion. They really gave it the respect that it deserves. They kind of botched it a little bit with Mickie James. They just called her like the Impact champion or Impact World champion or something like that. It's like, we're not calling her a knockout. That's dumb. Forget that. I can imagine that being something that Vince said. Actually, it's like, knockouts. That's dumb. Just call her world champion.
Dumb. Just call her a world champion. Damn it.
Yeah. But yeah, it was great to see Jordynne Grace in the Rumble. That was a very exciting moment for me. I watched it live. Had my friend Alex over. And he, as a non-TNA watcher, couldn't quite realise why I was getting so excited and jumping out of my seat and things. So, yeah.
Think this could be a slight partnership between WWE and TNA?
I think it could have been until the news that we will discuss a little bit later broke yesterday. I feel like there has been some shooting in the foot that has taken place since Jordynne Grace was in the Royal Rumble, but we'll get to that. Any other comments about the Rumble in general?
Not really.
I was disappointed with the men's Rumble, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
I feel like the event as a whole was a little bit average, apart from the women's Rumble. The women's Rumble was definitely the standout for me.
Yeah, it's definitely better.
I felt like there wasn't really any major surprises in the men's Rumble.
No, there wasn't.
Andrade was probably the closest that we got, and quite frankly, I'm not that bothered about Andrade coming back to WWE. It will be what it will be, but let's break it down then. Break it down. Women's Royal Rumble was won by Bayley, and in the time intervening, we've had the craziness of her deciding who she was going to face, which has led to the not the breakup of Damage Control, but certainly the ousting of its leader in Bayley.
Yeah,
and we don't know what Dakota Kai is going to do yet. That will be a story in and of itself going forward. But Bayley has chosen Io Sky as her opponent for WrestleMania, and that was the first WrestleMania match booked. What did you think of the whole Damage Control breakup segment on SmackDown last week?
I think it was done okay. I like how Bayley kind of started speaking a bit Japanese to be like, yeah, I understood you.
Mm-hmm. That is exactly what she said. Yeah.
Yeah, which I loved. You know, I thought that was great, and I liked Io's, Asuka's, and Kairi's face when she did speak the Japanese. Perfect, and kind of sticking up for herself. Is this going to be a babyface Bayley now? She is
turning babyface. Yes. I don't think we're going to get side parting pigtail. Bayley buddies, happy-go-lucky Bayley.
I don't think we are going to get that, and to be honest, we don't need that again.
I don't think so. No, but absolutely not.
If she just kind of stays in the iteration she is at the moment, but just kind of is a baby face and is a bit more welcoming for the crowd, I'm down for it.
Yeah, as long as she still keeps having a go at Michael Cole, but Michael Cole's not on SmackDown now, but on pay-per-view, as long as she keeps telling Michael Cole to shut up, then I'll be happy, because she's saying what we're all thinking, quite frankly. Yeah. So that was the first match set for WrestleMania, which is cool. Elsewhere in the Rumble, not related to the Rumble matches themselves, Logan Paul retained the US title by disqualification. Kevin Owens was caught red-handed with the brass knuckles. What did you think of this finish?
Not really there for it.
I did feel like we were going to have different opinions on this, actually. Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was a great way to kind of finish this match, keep Kevin Owens credible. You couldn't have Logan Paul beating him clean and then Kevin Owens keep that momentum that he's had going. I've no idea what they're going to do next with Kevin Owens. Expect he'll get a rematch again, but then, how do you handle that? The only real option is he beats Logan Paul, and I don't think they're ready to take the belt off him yet. But so often brass knuckles or some kind of outside object is used, and the referee plays the derp, and he never gets he never catches the culprit or anything like that. So it was nice for once for the referee to actually use his eyes, do the job he's supposed to be doing, spot it, and call for the disqualification. And I like the way that it was handled afterwards on SmackDown. You know, Kevin Owens basically said, "Yeah, it was only a problem because I got caught. I don't regret it. I'd do it again. I'd do it twice, in fact." So yeah, I did like the ending, but I can see why you don't like it. Is there any specific reason you weren't keen?
Just, I think I might have preferred it if Logan Paul got caught holding the brass knuckles and he got disqualified. I mean, he wouldn't have lost the title because it's, you know, I'll be down for that a bit more, I think. It's just the fact that Kevin Owens got caught with the brass knuckles, I think.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I think the difference is Kevin Owens being caught with the knuckles allows for Logan Paul to kind of rub it in and kind of, you know, prod and like, I beat you. I won the match. I beat Kevin Owens. I don't need to face you again. I've already beaten you. I beat you at the Royal Rumble. What are you going to do about it? Nothing, because you lost. So it allows him to be that obnoxious pain in the ass that he is, quite frankly. You know, I don't think Logan Paul's character is much of a stretch compared to who he is on a daily basis. So yeah, but we'll see that again, I'm sure. Will it be this side of WrestleMania? Possibly. We are questioning whether there will be a men's Elimination Chamber match. It certainly won't be for the Undisputed Championship. It won't be for the World Heavyweight Championship while Seth Rollins is still carrying that knee injury. So Intercontinental, US, there's no number one contenders to decide. It's got to be one of those belts. So Logan Paul seems to be the best candidate to defend his belt, really. It would be a way to get it off him without him having to lose. Yeah. If you were keen to do that at this point. But we won't talk about the Undisputed Championship match. That pretty much was what it was. And
it was what it was. Yeah. Came and went.
Copy-paste every other title defense for the last year. Within the Royal Rumble itself, before we get to the winner and everything that's ensued from that, CM Punk picked up an injury, tore his triceps right off the bone, and scuppered any WrestleMania plans that were set to involve him, of which apparently there were plenty. Deary
me.
I don't know, man. CM Punk just can't stay healthy.
No, he can't.
I think the only match he's had in recent memory where he hasn't had to have time off afterwards from injury was All Out against Samoa Joe. All In, rather, against Samoa Joe. I mean, he did have time off after that, but the reasons were completely different.
Reason.
But is he just too old to be trying to mount this kind of comeback? Is it too late?
Fragile.
He was getting on a bit when, you know, he finally actually made it onto the main roster through ECW and then onto SmackDown and such.
How old is he now?
It's a good question. I would assume he's mid to late 40s.
Get the Google out.
I will get the Google machine out. CM Punk is 45.
So he's mid-40s.
He will be 46 in October.
Yeah, so he is getting on a little bit.
Yeah. His wife, AJ Lee, is 9 years younger than him.
Oh, really?
Definitely punching. Anyway, so yeah, disappointing that CM Punk is injured.
Yeah,
I feel like it's better now than, you know, at WrestleMania after he'd probably won the world title and then had to relinquish it immediately.
Yeah.
I question whether WWE can risk putting the belt on him at any point. To be honest.
Yeah.
You know, he's already had to relinquish a world title because of injury in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Is it worth the risk? Probably not. Let's just give him some high-profile one-off matches with people that are kind of dream matches and keep him away from titles, because he's probably going to have to relinquish it day one anyway. Yeah. On to the winner of the Royal Rumble and some slightly interesting things, I guess, that have happened. No, Dan's breaking everything.
I'm just breaking stuff.
Throwing your mic around. Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble. Which I think now is probably a good time to segue into predictions, actually. Now that we've discussed the entirety of the Rumble winners. Predictions. We each got 3 points. We only we differed on 2 matches, but I got the men's Rumble right. Predicted Cody to win that, and you got the women's Rumble right. I went for Becky Lynch in the women's Rumble. I think the women's Rumble was a lot wider open, really. Yeah. And who did you go for in the men's Rumble? CM Punk, wasn't it?
CM Punk, yeah.
I could have seen that as well.
Yeah.
It was a binary choice, I think. Well, I think Gunther had a chance as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty much a binary choice between Rhodes and Punk.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, another thing with the women's Royal Rumble. Jade Cargill.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess that happened.
I mean, she managed to pick up Nia Jax.
Which is impressive. Yeah. She still did look a little bit, green around the edges. And there's still work to be done. But at least now she is signed to a brand, and we'll actually see her, and she'll get that chance to develop in front of our eyes on television. But yes, Jade Cargill. Now, I know why you are trying to bring up new things and deflect from the predictions, and it will only work for so long. Adding our scores of 3 to the final scores for the quarter that ended at the WWE Royal Rumble, you, sir, are on 50. And I am very pleased to announce, obviously, that your winner and new Main Event Podcast World Prediction Champion is this guy with 55. Woo! Woo! 55 to 50. It wasn't even close. Didn't have to do some kind of tiebreaker or anything. That belt is mine. Hand it over.
Well, I mean, I could try, but I mean, we haven't invented teleportation yet.
It's phasing out of existence. Okay, fine. I guess we'll have to use the postal system, and you can get that to me forthwith, and I will take lots of naked photographs with it, and it'll be glorious.
Please don't. If you do, I will be disowning you.
Cool. That means I get to keep the belt longer. That works for me. Because we are already, 3 events into the next quarter, and you're not doing too badly so far. So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah.
Okay. After the Royal Rumble, Cody Rhodes comes out on Monday Night Raw last week.
Yeah.
Is about to, announce that he will face Roman Reigns for his Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He even, instead of pointing at the WrestleMania sign at the Royal Rumble, pointed up to the box with Roman Reigns in it. All set to do that. Interrupted by Seth Rollins, who basically channeled his inner Pokemon and was like, "Choose me, Cody. Don't choose Pikachu. Choose me." I'm not sure what Pokemon Roman Reigns would be, actually. Maybe like Arcanine. Looks a bit like Arcanine.
Maybe.
Cody Rhodes looks like Machamp, though. I don't know how familiar you are with your Pokemon, but
I know of some Pokemon.
Yeah, he looks a lot. Cody Rhodes just looks like Machamp. He's even got the same hair. Anyway, so that kind of derailed the announcement a little bit. Cody Rhodes said he'd think about it. We all expected, whatever, Seth.
Yeah, whatever.
He's
man.
Clearly not going to choose you. He's got a story to finish. They're building a whole video game around it, for God's sake. Finish the story. Then we get to SmackDown. And just at the very moment that Cody Rhodes was about to confirm what everybody thought and do the obvious, sensible, reasonable thing of choosing Roman Reigns, he randomly, out of nowhere, declares that he is giving up his spot at WrestleMania and giving it to The Rock. Out comes The Rock, stares at Roman Reigns, SmackDown goes off the air. There's some other footage that it was released from after it went off the air. They still just stood there and looked at each other and didn't do anything. I'm like, right, cool, excellent. Then, over the weekend, all hell broke loose in the internet wrestling community. We Want Cody trended from Saturday morning right through to beyond Monday Night Raw on Monday night. people were not happy at The Rock coming and taking Cody
they
Rhodes'
weren't.
main event. I guess we'll pause here and say, how did you feel about this whole thing? And do you want
stupid.
Rocky? Do you want Cody? What do you want?
I want Cody. All the way. The Rock can do, I don't know, Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber. But Cody can win the title at WrestleMania. Come on.
Yeah. Do you know, it's funny because I really want to see The Rock and Roman Reigns. I really do.
I do as well.
I really like the idea of it. And I think most people, even everybody that has been, hashtag we want Cody and going nuts over the last week, want to see The Rock and Roman Reigns. The problem has been how this whole booking scenario has come about.
Yeah.
If you wanted it to be Rock and Roman at WrestleMania, all you had to do was not have Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
It's quite simple. Even if The Rock only came out there literally to just throw out the last person, came out at 30, throw out the last person, job done.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been an exciting end to the Rumble, but let's be honest, it wasn't that exciting an end to the Rumble anyway, so what difference does it make?
No.
The problem is that for a year, over a year, because this has really been building since last year's WrestleMania, which had been building from the Royal Rumble previous.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted Cody Rhodes to finish the story.
Yeah.
Mainly so he'll start banging on about it, quite frankly. And because he's long overdue a world championship. He really is long overdue a world championship. WWE should be the people to give him that world championship, and it should be the WWE championship first. He can win other world titles afterwards, that's fine. But his first world championship should be the belt that his dad never won. It's that simple.
Yes.
So why in all of this would you decide to self-sabotage and put The Rock in there? I just don't understand it.
I've seen a thing going around that would kind of make it a bit better. Do you remember at WrestleMania 30, it was Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, Batista.
Yeah, no, I don't want a triple threat.
If they did that for Cody Rhodes.
No, because it fulfills neither criteria, People want to see The Rock and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
People want to see Cody versus Roman again.
Yeah.
Having it all mixed together accomplishes nothing.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. The only idea that I have heard that I would truly be okay with is, and we're going to probably find out how it's all going to play out tonight. They've got the Las Vegas press conference and all that kind of stuff, and Cody has put out a post saying he's decided what he's doing.
Decided,
all right, cool, fine. The only thing I would be happy with is through some Nick Aldis contract shenanigans, The Rock faces Roman Reigns on WrestleMania Night 1 on Saturday, and Cody Rhodes faces him on Night 2 for the title. Because the match with The Rock isn't about the title, let's be honest. It's about the whatever the special lay is called, and being the head of the table and the tribal chief of the Anoa'i family. So, I that's the only way you fix it. There's talk of the Rock being the special guest referee. I'm like, okay. I'd much rather it just be Cody Rhodes defeats Roman Reigns clean, despite all the intervention from the bloodline and all that kind of stuff. He's got to have that redemption arc. He's already lost because of shenanigans last year. It doesn't need to be a repeat of that.
No.
Can we just finish the damn story, please?
Just finish the damn story so he won't keep banging on about it.
And we'll finally get, a different world champion on the SmackDown brand.
Yeah, we will.
I'm a big Roman Reigns fan now. It hasn't always been the case, but I really enjoyed the tribal chief and his entire reign, all 1,967,000 days of it. But it just doesn't make sense to do anything other than put that belt on Cody now and move forward into the future. There's plenty of other things Reigns can do, not with the belt, with his part-time nature, and I'm there for all of those as well. So stop faffing around, do the thing, worry about The Rock later.
Yes. Well said, good sir.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the stream at Absolute Bedlam Podcast. Hello, sir. A fellow purveyor of the goat energy drink. Actually, the middleman, if you will, that facilitated the join up with us and goat energy drinks.
Fantastic.
We're on the goat. And,
On the goat.
you love the discount code down the bottom. Yes, it's good down there because Dan can point at it. I'm not very good at pointing at things. It's not my forte. But Dan, look at that point. You know,
It's like bang on, just straight there.
he's been training for this his entire life. You know,
Yeah.
some people train to become athletes.
Yeah.
Some people train to, like, I don't know, be kings, and I don't know what people train for. I've no idea. But Dan is a trained pointer. He's like a dog. That's the type of pointer, right? I don't know.
Yeah. A pointer is a dog.
This has gone off the rails a bit. Dan can point.
Yeah.
There's one thing Dan can do. He can point.
Oh, we do chat some rubbish on her.
Pointing is all that matters when you really think about it. Well, it's true. I mean, it's the only reason he's still here. Like, I could talk to myself, really. I'd probably look a bit strange, but people do that.
Do you know what's really good pointing wise?
It's a family show, Dan.
Acknowledging the tribal chief.
Ah, yes, that's true. Pointing to the sky.
Yeah.
Or, sideways. Yeet.
Yeet.
No yeet.
No yeet.
No yeet. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Because these decisions that WWE have made were not exclusive to their main roster brand. There was also a big decision made, probably months ago, on the NXT brand. And it's really all we're going to talk about from NXT Vengeance Day. The rest of the event was
fair.
Fine. Have you got any other thoughts other than the main event action from Vengeance Day?
Nope.
No. It was fine. It wasn't a bad event.
Came and went.
It wasn't a bad event. It wasn't a great event. It was all a bit inevitable, really.
Yeah.
The juicy part of the information was that at the end of the show, Carmelo Hayes finally turned on Trick Williams.
Finally.
How do you feel about the Carmelo Hayes heel turn?
I'm there for it, to be honest.
I was about 4 months ago when they started teasing it. It's just all a bit inevitable now.
Yeah.
And, now that it's finally happened, I'm like, okay, great. Yeah. We're going to get some new stuff out of it.
Yeah.
But, the whole thing was just a bit of a damp squib. You knew it was coming. Yeah. It had been teased for months. The bigger swerve would have been them not doing it and just keeping it going on. And them never breaking up,
Yeah.
Or at least not until a random point. But you knew now was the time to do it so that they can face off at Stand and Deliver, their WrestleMania weekend show.
Yeah.
And, I don't hate it. It just meant nothing to me because it took too long to happen.
You don't love it.
No, indeed. Yeah. Did you watch NXT this week, by the way?
Parts of it.
I watched it live and I was quite amused. At the beginning of the show, when Carmelo Hayes, came out and started in the ring, he eventually said, "Not yet," and then came back later. But during that early part, the crowd, very animated on Tuesday night, were chanting "F you, Mello," which obviously for a WWE program that is broadcast on a cable network, on like USA Network in the States, meant that they had to mute the crowd. Now, they're not very good at just muting the crowd. In fact, they've never done that. They mute the entire program. So you would just get Mello, 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 and it was just all a bit weird. And I hate when they have to mute the crowd.
Yeah.
But it was very obvious as the show went on that the crowd had a telling off, because later in the show, when he was back, the chant had changed to "Screw you, Mello," which obviously they didn't need to mute.
Yeah.
It's quite entertaining to me. Just a little thing that I noticed is like the crowd got a telling off, or at least were asked politely to stop swearing because it was ruining their program. It's very well documented how I feel about swearing. I love swearing. I think that people need to get a grip, really, and stop.
Doing this as a family friendly.
It is a challenge. It really is.
For you, isn't
it is really hard. Yeah, it's very challenging.
Yeah.
I've considered unfamily friendlying it on multiple occasions, but yet we persist. Yeah, it's just something that tickled me on Tuesday night that on the same show, the crowd had censored themselves.
Yeah.
As it progressed, it was kind of entertaining. Now, a few more things to discuss. This might have a crowd chanting F you.
Yeah.
But this, instead of at Carmelo Hayes, will be at Anthem Sports and Entertainment. Yesterday, Wednesday, February the 7th, if anybody's watching this deep into the future, Anthem announced that they had let go of TNA president Scott D'Amore, effective immediately, and he would be replaced with generico Anthem corporate hack Anthony Ciccione. I'm sorry, what?
I know.
I said it on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I've got no love, really, for Scott D'Amore. I really appreciate what he has done for TNA behind the scenes. Yeah. I find him supremely irritating on the microphone, and I could do without that, quite frankly. But you cannot deny what he has done for TNA, especially turning it back around, reinstating the TNA name, and getting it on the map once again.
Yeah.
So, what the hell, man? I just don't understand what is happening here.
I don't have a flipping clue.
And we on this show, have been big advocates of TNA since we started doing our TNA reviews when we changed the name of the show to the Main Event Podcast. So we're talking 2.5, almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
We've been big into TNA, Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, unless something comes out that, you know, Scott D'Amore was pulling a Vince McMahon, shall we say, or, you know, even something slightly less severe than that. Unless there is a legitimate reason that Scott D'Amore was let go, rather than it just being some corporate reshuffling power grab nonsense. Yeah. I'm not sure I can support TNA going forward.
No, me neither.
It just is such a brutal effort of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Just when things are going good for TNA again, they pull out the rug from underneath themselves.
Yeah.
I don't understand what is going on.
No.
I really can't explain it. So, pending further information, we'll stick with TNA. I'm going to watch TNA Impact tonight. You know, we get to see Trinity for the umpteenth time, even though she's no longer with the company, because they recorded that show in 1992. But watch this space. I may be cancelling my TNA Plus and leaving this show in the dust, which would be a shame because they have really, really come back amongst themselves. I really enjoyed Hard to Kill and the shows afterwards.
Yeah.
But, I just don't understand the logic of this. And I don't particularly care for Scott D'Amore on a personal level, but I don't like the injustice of this.
No. Yeah.
Any thoughts from you about the Scott D'Amore thing?
Just it's a load of garbage.
I think that pretty much sums it up. Yeah. Let's move on to something more positive, or slightly more positive. There are positives there.
Yeah.
We are coming this weekend into the final New Japan Pro Wrestling matches of Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay. Okada will face off against Hiroshi Tanahashi, whom he has history with, obviously.
Yeah.
And Will Ospreay will take part in a Don't Call It War Games match as United Empire take on Bullet Club. It's War Games, just without a cage and with one ring.
Yeah.
I think they're calling it Bullet Club War Dogs Rules match.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see William Regal try and say that in that kind of voice that he does.
Bullet Club War Dogs Rules.
It's not catchy, but they wanted to do War Games. I get it.
Yes.
It is in a cage, actually, isn't it? It is in a cage.
Yes, cage. Is it just a cage match?
It's not just a cage match. They've got the whole, two people start. Ospreay and David Finlay will start the match, and then they will introduce people at regular intervals until everyone's in and all that kind of stuff. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
I don't anticipate, Will Ospreay winning on his way out of the company. Not sure I could say the same thing about Okada and Tanahashi. I think that it would be strange to have Tanahashi beat Okada. The match with what's his face, Kosei Fujita, never happened. I don't know why. I felt like I was excited about it. We talked about it on the last episode. I don't understand why that isn't happening. I would have liked to see Kosei Fujita pick up a win over Okada. Maybe Okada said, "No, mate, I'm not losing to him. Do one." Which is possible. But are you excited to see what's next for Okada? And we know what's next for Will Ospreay.
Yeah, we know what's happening with Will Ospreay, and I think again I'm kind of excited for Will Ospreay as well. But I'm excited to see where Okada goes. Quite excited.
Yeah. And it will. I think I'll switch the topics around a little bit because it could link quite nicely with the AEW announcement yesterday. Tony Khan has a big announcement, doesn't he always? Big Business, a special episode of AEW Dynamite, will broadcast in March from Boston, Massachusetts in the USA. Mercedes Moné is all but confirmed to debut at this, really. You could see in the background it had Boston with $2 signs. She's the boss. She's the boss. I get it. She's the boss.
Well, she's not the boss, is she, when she's not in WWE?
No.
She's the CEO.
Right, yes. I had forgotten about this. Thank you for ruining my life. Yeah. I mean, I don't care for Mercedes Moné. I really don't.
No, I don't.
That's happening. But
Okada?
He's the rainmaker. He
is the rainmaker.
He brings the money. It is big business. Maybe the two of them are coming.
Maybe you're just thinking into this too much.
I could possibly be thinking into this too much. But, the prevailing rumour, not to get Dan's dirt sheet on you, but the prevailing rumour is that he is AEW bound on the basis of the friendships and relationships that he has with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and all of the guys that came through New Japan Pro Wrestling while he was on his major run there. So it makes the most sense. I'm not sure why they wouldn't have both of these guys, frankly, debuting at Revolution. Only explanation there possibly is you don't want to overshadow Sting's retirement with some new people turning up. And okay, if that's the reason, I can accept that. The night should be about Sting, and it will be about Sting, because the world title match is a triple threat, and we all know how I feel about triple threats.
Yes, we do.
I'll say, watch it, Tamsin. Welcome in. Good to see you.
Tamsin.
And I've almost segued myself quite neatly into our final topic.
You have.
I don't know if you caught AEW Dynamite or any highlights last night, but
I caught a bit of the highlights of this match.
Yes, in the main event, as was inevitable, almost as inevitable as a Carmelo Hayes heel turn, almost as inevitable as a Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble, Sting and Darby Allin defeated Bog Bill and Ricky Starks for the AEW World Tag Team titles, were immediately viciously beaten down by Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, as they now like to be called. The Bucks of Youth, as they don't like to be called.
The Bucks of Youth.
And now that is an AEW World Tag Team title match. Sting and Darby Allin against the Young Bucks at Revolution. Sting's final wrestling match ever.
Now, do you think they're going to do an Okada 6-man ending where they retained, or do you think Sting will lose the title in his last match?
I have to think that the reason that they are having this match with the Young Bucks at all is because Sting has handpicked who he would like to defeat him and have the momentum of having defeated Sting in his last ever match. He thinks very highly of the Young Bucks. Not sure why, personally.
I don't know either.
But he clearly does. He chose the Young Bucks to be his final opponent.
Yeah,
I understand why he wanted to do a tag team match to close things out, because his partnership with Darby Allin has absolutely been the hallmark of his AEW tenure. It really has. Yeah. So that makes sense. Very happy to see Sting with another world championship, albeit a world tag team championship.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice touch. It's not like Big Bill and Ricky Starks were doing anything with those belts anyway.
No.
I don't really understand.
They had them.
I don't really understand why they had them in the first place. I think they've defended them 3 times since winning them, which for a tag title is just really not enough. For the Judgment Day to have like defended theirs way more than them is a joke, really.
Yeah.
But to answer your question in a less roundabout way, no, the Young Bucks are absolutely winning this, and they're winning the belts. Are you enjoying their little heel turn that they're doing, where they're trying to clear AEW of the old guard, the part-time scourges like CM Punk and Sting?
Meh.
It's a bit of a random way to break kayfabe, or to maintain kayfabe, break kayfabe. They're messing around with kayfabe.
It's just meh to me.
Yeah.
Really.
I haven't really been enjoying AEW all that much since World's End, if I'm honest.
I haven't at all, really.
And
it's just been kind of like, it's just been there.
Yeah. I think so much has been happening elsewhere, especially with the big momentum that TNA carried when they came back, and all of the cool things that have been happening in New Japan, with all the news of people leaving and all of that, all the stuff that's been happening in WWE on the road to WrestleMania. AEW has really just been an afterthought, which is left behind. Is a shame for Sting, really. So I hope they can rebuild some momentum in the next couple of weeks. I'm just not sure the Young Bucks are the people to do that with, really.
No.
Which is a shame. It's cool to see Sting's 2 sons, Stung and Stang, at ringside, and his daughter as well. I don't know what her name is. Stingette, possibly.
Stingette.
Yeah. And today I learned that apparently Sting's daughter-in-law is a professional wrestler. And is a champion in an indie promotion somewhere. So,
nice.
The Sting legacy will continue, albeit, via the son's missus. I don't know which son it was, or if it was one of the 2 sons there, or if he's got other offspring that we don't know about. But
was it the daughters?
It's a good question, Dan. Way to keep it 2024. That is a very good question.
Discriminate.
Yeah, it could very well be his daughter's wife. Yes,
exactly.
This much is true.
Exactly.
Yeah, but all in all, it has been a nutso couple of weeks.
It's been a busy couple of weeks
in the pro wrestling world, and I don't see any signs of it slowing down. Really,
no.
There were some other things that we could have talked about, like Rossi Ogawa is leaving Stardom and apparently starting his own women's promotion in Japan, and all of the stuff that will come from that, all of the women that are supposedly AEW or WWE bound that might hang around to help him out because they love him and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, if you'd have had on your bingo card, Cody Rhodes not being in the WrestleMania main event, CM Punk injuring himself and not being at WrestleMania, Scott D'Amore being fired, kudos to you. You should play the lottery because
you should play the lottery. You would be a multi-millionaire.
Very, very rich. Yeah. Good job on the predicting there.
Yeah.
And then speaking of predicting, we will close out with the new quarter of predictions for my championship belt that is currently in your possession. Finally, I'm so excited to get this belt.
You get to see the new.
I do.
New design up close and personal.
Been so long. It's been so long.
You get to touch it and hold it and caress it.
And take pictures with it naked. Yeah.
No, please don't. Because if you do,
fantastic.
I will hunt you down.
I'll make sure to send them to you first of all, Dan.
I will hunt you down.
We have had 3 shows in this new quarter so far. We have 2 Road to New Beginning shows in New Japan Pro Wrestling and NXT Vengeance Day. Of those 2 New Japan shows, we finished with a score of me 6 and you 5. So pretty much on the same page there. There was potential for a few extra points either way there for us, but a few matches were changed. So our predictions didn't count because they changed them, or they were just flat out cancelled because of injury, or Hanare and Thingamabob, he's a madman, went to a double, a double count out, through the match out, all that kind of thing. So no winner there. So that one didn't count. So and obviously we'll predict New Beginning in Osaka this weekend, and that will add to that as well. In addition, NXT Vengeance Day, we were mostly on the same page with our predictions, and we finished with a score of 4 each. We were both wrong on Joe Gacy defeating Dijak, and then we also differed on the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic final. You went with the Wolf Dogs, so you picked up that point there. In the 6-person tag team match, I went with the Family, whereas you went with Out the Mud. So so I got the point there. So actually, we didn't really agree on much at all. Just 2 or 3 matches on what's his name? Dragunov. I can't remember the guy's name.
Ilya
Dragunov, the NXT champion. And Lara Valkyria and the obvious ones. So that means in this new quarter, I can stop rabbiting now. I am on 10 to kick things off, and you are trailing very slightly on 9.
There we go.
Yeah, still all to play for on the road to WrestleMania. I would like to keep the belt a little longer than March. That would be the shortest title reign in main event podcast history if you won it back at WrestleMania. But
I think am I right in saying I've got the longest at the moment?
You definitely have the longest reign in podcast history. Yes.
Yeah. It's gonna stay that way.
We shall see. Perhaps I will go on a Roman Reigns-esque reign. A Roman's reign, if you will.
No pun intended.
Pun definitely intended. And on that note, I don't really think there's a better way that we can end this show than on such a magnificent championship pun. So we will bid you adieu. No show next week. We'll be back in a fortnight to discuss Osaka, New Beginning in Osaka, and get ready for Elimination Chamber. And probably the news that Goldberg is facing Seth Rollins or something crazy. Brock Lesnar's turning up to pee on someone's head. I don't know. There will be some nonsense that we will need to discuss. Until next time, I've been Jez.
I've been Dan.
And this has been the Main Event Podcast. Bye, y'all.
Bye.